everyone, welcome to Fixin' to Create's Fun Friday. Today we're going to build a snowman. It's going to be a fun, cute project. For anyone that knows me personally knows that I'm obsessed with snowmen, so I'm really excited about this project. So today's supply list that you're going to need are 3 different size foam balls. They can start small and go smaller. It can be large, so depending on what size you want. We are going to be wrapping it with a medium-sized twine. You can do it in various different colors, whatever you find, like a lighter color, more snowman look. We're just going to stick with the rustic look and do the brown twine. For the scarf, you're going to need some type of felt or little piece of fabric to wrap a scarf. A hat. Snowman is not a snowman without his trusty little hat. Lots of glue because we're going to be wrapping this twine around a round surface, so we will need to use quite a bit of glue. If you want to hold your 3 spheres together a little more, you can use a stick to hold it all together a little bit better. But again, we are going to be using a lot of hot glue on this project. For the embellishments for his face, there's a lot of different things that you might have lying around. So for his nose, I have an orange pipe cleaner or a little foam stick just to cut out a little piece for his nose. Snowmen typically have black buttons, so if you have any black buttons laying around, you can certainly use those. I happen to have these. They're dark blue, but they almost look black beads in various different sizes. These did come from the Dollar Tree in that multi-pack of colors, so I might as well go ahead and use those. We're going to put some rosy cheeks on our snowman. So again, if you want to add that, I have some pink beads. I do have a couple other pink foam things as options as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cleared out and go ahead and get started. All right, so go ahead and get started. I first grabbed my largest piece. When I do want him to be able to stand up, so it's going to be a little bit trial and error doing this project, but we want to go ahead and leave an open space at the bottom and create a circle, so that's going to create his balance to be able to stand up. So make sure your hot glue is nice and hot. And then all I'm going to do is start with a nice thick ream around and carefully making the best circle as you can. So again, that's going to be that start, that resting point if you want him to stand up, or her. So I'm just going to pinch that, let that sit there. We are working with foam, so you know, be careful with the type of foam you might have. The hot glue might melt it a little bit, so just be real cautious when using that. If you want to use the E6000, by all means do so. It just will take a little bit more time. Now I do have my foam ball resting in just a little cup just to give me more balance, so since it is a sphere, it doesn't roll away. So I'm just going to continue around my snowman a little bit at a time, just making sure it's pressed in there. And I'm just going to keep going around and around all the way to get to the very top. Since we started at one end, that'll be the top. And then do the same thing. We're going to come right to the very end, because what we want to do is then nest the middle size on top of this one. So let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll be back. Nice and wrapped, pretty even, not too wonky. And now I'm going to take the next size and kind of see, I want them to meet together, but I also want them to kind of curve together. So it looks like I'm going to go ahead and do just another round and then start on my medium size one. All right, so let's take a look here. So if I do another little ring here with a little exposed, I can put those together and you can see they'll just nest together like that. So I'm going to go ahead and use my skewer here just to try to keep a nice centered spot. Obviously don't want to go all the way through. So let's find a center spot here. Kind of do the same thing. and then we'll have a little bit for the top. And now I'm just going to repeat the same thing around this middle one. So let's see how these nest together. Perfect. So I definitely want those to look like a snowman, kind of have that contour in and out, just as a snowman would if you were rolling snowballs. So I'm going to go ahead and see how, use my little cup here, and see how this is going to nest in there as well, and see if we need to add any more loops. So it looks like I need to add probably one more, even maybe two, but you can see that in there, you can see the white. So I'm gonna go ahead and add another one, and then I'm gonna do the exact same process for the top one, and then we will start on his accessories. Now I just have that last little bit. I'm just gonna tuck that on there. Had some hot glue right in that center. Just gonna let that set, and then I'm gonna trim that little end off. For some reason, my twine, as I was pulling it out of my stack, I had to keep twisting it. So hopefully you don't run into that problem. All right, I think that's set up here. I'm just gonna trim that off. Nice. All right, so we're just gonna place that right on the top. And how cute is that already? Like, this guy's a little crooked. Let me fix that just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and hot glue these all together so that way it doesn't fall apart. So just one section at a time. I'm just going to run a bunch of hot glue right around there and then slide my guy back on. Just going to press that together for a second or two. That way you can really grab onto each other. And then do the same thing for the top. All right, while we're waiting for that hot glue to officially bond all these pieces together, you have a couple options. We can braid some rope and make some arms, or we can just have an armless snowman, or you could find twigs in your yard, whichever type of snowman you would like. Get rid of some of these hot glue strings. See if he does stand up. He does. Yay! Find a good balanced center here to create that face. All right, so we have a hat. This one I found at Hobby Lobby in like the little foam craft area that they do, you know, easy project DIY stuff. So we're gonna have that on his head. We have some foam, some felt, and I got some glue on there. So let's see. I might be able to hide it. I have to take that off. We have some dark beads because I didn't have buttons, so I'm gonna use my beads for his buttons and his eyes. So let's go ahead and bring this snowman to life. So let's see. Let's work on the scarf first. We're going to scrunch that up a little bit. Wrap that around however you want. If you want to tie it off, if you just want to glue it and create a little fringe, I think for the size that I have, I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to fold that over just a little bit more. Just going to fold it kind of a triple fold just for the middle. bring that piece under. And have that kind of like so. And then I will trim the little fringe edges. So I'm going to just put a little dab of glue here just to hold it. And I'm just going to make little snips, just little frayed edges on the scarf. You can make them as deep as you want. This piece was a little strange shape, so I'm just going to trim a little piece off in the back here. And same thing. So he has a bit of a scarf. Make these a little longer. Sometimes going back, you kind of don't make them straight, so. Alright, so now we have some frayed edges. Looks like my hot glue didn't set very well right there, so let me try that again. Quite a bit more. Put some underneath so it touches the twine. And there we have the beginning of our snowman. Now we have that scarf kind of place. Let's go ahead and get his buttons set. I have a couple different sizes here. So if I do 1, 2, 3, I don't want to go down there. So we want them like right here. And I don't want the hole showing since I'm using the button, so I'm going to turn it sideways. I'm just going to set one at a time. One. So now we have 3 buttons. Now let's go ahead and work on his face. So same thing, I have 2 smaller beads. I'm going to place them sideways. If you have a tiny button or a push pin, actually a push pin would work really well, and set that out. For his cheeks you could do that, or I have the pink here. And I used to have some of these little sparkly stickies. Alright, so I think I'm going to use for the eyes, because these little buttons or the little beads looked a little kind of creepy. So I'm going to go ahead and use, I happen to have 2 black push pins. So I'm just going to go ahead, and I mean black because the end is black. I do think these are a little small for the snowman, so for now we're going to go ahead and use these little tiny eyes. They are pretty small, so I may replace those later with something bigger. But for now, this is what we have. And let's give him some cheeks, because I know that's going to be on the side. Past his eyes. And then for nose, we can use a pipe cleaner. Now, based on the eyes and the rest of his face, we don't want it to be too big. Or you can use some foam and cut that out. So I just took a pipe cleaner and twisted it to make it a little bit thicker. Let's see if I stick it in between, if I can get it in between here. And try to just kind of poke that into the styrofoam through the twine. And we can give him a little carrot nose. And grab that glue for his nose, get that in there a little bit more. And then we're going to add his hat. So we can put it this way, we can put it sideways. I think I'm going to put it a little bit crooked. And I'm going to go ahead and put the glue on here. That way, when I place the hat itself, it'll all stick versus miss it using this snowman. So I'm just going to place that right there. And like I said, we could add arms. So I may add arms just so he looks like he's tipping his hat. I will grab something for his smile. But isn't he so cute? So cute. If you have the buttons, by all means do the buttons so it's a little more flush but I liked a little bit of the dimension. If you want to add an embellishment onto his scarf, some holly leaves, things like that, you can absolutely do that. So let's go. I'm going to go ahead and play with the arms and see if I decide if I'm going to do arms or not. All right, so I went ahead, I was playing with an idea of using some arms, and I think they're really, really cute. So I just took the same twine, and then I just braided it. So I used 3 pieces. I did cut them 12 inches. I didn't need that much. So I just measure based on how big your foam balls are and the size of your snowman. So I'm going to go ahead and trim these off and just let these hang as if they were tree branches. So I'm just going to go ahead and give those a cut. I may trim them a little shorter, but I do have this one cute little arm. So I'm going to do that again for the other side. I'm just going to braid it, and I think I'm going to have him have that arm going up to the top of his hat. All right, so I went ahead and just loosely braided this, and I want to see if my arm is here on the side of my body. That's kind of too long. So let me go ahead and undo just a little bit here. I'm just gonna have to go this way. So this one I can tuck under the scarf a little bit, and then have him kind of touching his hat. So let's see. That's about the same length as this other arm here. We don't want to have snowman to have 2 monkey arms. So I'm just going to carefully glue this just under the scarf. Being really cautious of my fingers. Because this twine is a little more stiff, then you know, it kind of bends and holds in place. Just give that a few seconds there. Make sure that's nice and dry, because once you start tugging on it, we don't want it to fall apart. All right, so let's see. How long do we want? Where do we want to attach it? We know we don't want that long, so let's go ahead and cut a little bit more off. Keep that a little bit braided. So I think I'm going to just put a little bit on the tack of this part right here, which is going to attach to the hat. And again, your arm, if you choose to do for your snowman. First I'm going to go ahead and just kind of tack down the braid itself so it doesn't unwind. And then you can fluff those out just a little bit for his branch fingers. And then we're going to attach that to the hat. If you want, you could even embellish the hat with something. Tack that down just a little bit more. About his fingers, if you choose. And now we have a cute little snowman. Now he does still need a smile, so let's see. We could use a small pipe cleaner. A little bit smaller. A little fluffy, but I think it'll be cute. I'm going to trim off this end just a smidge. I want to see that. Now you can certainly just do a basic rustic snowman with none of the accessories, meaning no cheeks, no eyes, and just keep it rustic. And that would be very elegant to add to your decorations, a little woodsy decor. So Anyway, I think she is absolutely adorable. Thank you for taking the time with me with Fixin' to Create's DIY. I hope that this inspires you either to make your very own snowman or anything else. Just get that creative mind going. So again, thank you so much. This is our DIY Twine Snowman, Fixin' to Create style. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon. Bye!